don't pick his battles. They come knocking, stinking like hell on a hot wind. You ain't always reaching for iron 'cause you want to. Sometimes you just draw 'cause the job needs doing. No, I didn't wake up wanting to stare down the throat of the beast below decks. I didn't choose to wrestle valves and hoses soaked in sins unspoken. But fate don't ask politely, and pride won't pump that bilge. So I roll up my sleeves, grit my teeth, and I face that beast with wrench in hand. 'Cause out here, when things go wrong, there ain't no cavalry, just you and the toilet. And sometimes, just sometimes, you gotta kill a man when you'd rather not. Even when that man is the one who plumbed the goddamn thing in the first place.
The toilet yesterday, but we've still got issues. So we're going on a little adventure to go and get some bits from a Chandlery. We need a new hose, I think, and some other bits.
So we're ashore, that was great. No problems at all. We're now going to take a drive out to find some interesting shops. Stop number one is Boogie Nights, which is a kind of army surplus place with a bit of a difference. Come and have a look. Tucked behind a centuries-old stone arch at Mutton Cove lies a place of quiet wonder and ever-changing necessity. For over 110 years, this family-run military surplus emporium has risen up whenever someone needs it. Riot shields when you're cosplaying, camouflage nets for the outdoors, maritime chandlery, and even vintage filing cabinets. Like Hogwarts' Room of Requirement, it's never the same twice, but always exactly what you need. Step inside its weathered warehouse and you'll feel like you've discovered a secret world. Soldiers salute it, sailors stock up here, it's Plymouth's hidden treasure, and maybe the greatest surplus shop in the land. Bogey Nights appears when you need it most and supplies everything you didn't know you needed. £7,500 for a Hawk cockpit. Puma helicopter air intake pod. Tornado engine. Exhaust hose. With an Avon, little Avon. It's got the seat, the inflatable seat to go in it, little holding tank to go behind the sink. Industrial mop buckets. Grief. Hot surface. It's an aluminium furnace. I'm going to try the hat on. Yeah, police officer hat. Office chairs. Vinyl. Police taser belts. Police belts. Protective masks. Riot shield masks. Yeah, more riot gear. £4 for fleeces, yeah. 16mm nylon. 18mm nylon, £2.95 a metre, 20mm nylon, £3.50 a metre. Gas masks, might need those soon, the way things are going. B grade 50 cal ammo tins. Not far away and still in Plymouth is the Marine Bazaar. It's less room of requirement and more sort of captain's quartermaster. It's a place for serious marine kits, wall-to-wall, ropes, life jackets, pumps, pulleys, most of it brand new but with a solid stash of reclaimed and second-hand treasures too. It's cleaner and brighter and definitely more boaty, but it still has the same Plymouth magic, a kind of place where you can pop in for shackles and come out with a whole new windlass.
So we've been and got some supplies as well, just topped up on the milk and the yoghurt, and then a few things that we've run out of on the 7 days, because we're on our 7th day of being completely off-grid. So we just need to get a few supplies, and we also nipped to our friends to have nice long showers. Right, I'll hold his hand. Stand still.
jack step in. There you go, step over the boat.
Right, can you give your toy to Daddy?
Give that to me. Okay, Ollie, you come in. Go on. Sit next to Jack. Sit down.
Jack?
Turn around to face forwards. So we've got the pipe back that we bought at Marine Bazaar. Amazing. How good is Boogie Nights? That's great. And Marine Bazaar, really handy. The camera battery went flat while we were in there, so I didn't manage to film much. But we've got some bits and pieces. I'm going to replace all of the hose. I'm pretty sure the anti-siphons are fine. If not, I can replace those as well. Right, onwards and upwards. I'm going to turn this job into a bigger job though, because that's the kind of thing I do. I'm going to empty all of these pipes. I'm going to strip them all out. Everything from underneath this locker, and something I've been meaning to do but haven't got around to is paint out underneath the locker, because it's just, you know, it probably hasn't been painted since the boat was new. So I'm going to give under the sink and everything a clean and a lick of epoxy paint. There's no seawater coming in. I've discovered that it's this pipe, the one going down to the through hull, that's blocked. It's because obviously over a long time the pipe gets kind of calcified up, and these pipes are the original ones that were on the boat when we bought it, so they're ancient. I have sort of given them a notional clean in the past, but they need to be replaced, hence the new pipe. But it is blocked. That one isn't going to the toilet, but I'm going to replace that as well. But I've got to get this one off, and it's got pressure in it. So there's no two ways about it. This is going to be unpleasant. So I'm going to shut the door. I'm going to prise it off at the bottom and see what happens. Come on. Here we go. Right, you ready for the explosion? I'm not going to put the camera any closer because I don't want the camera getting covered in whatever splurges out. It might not be terrible, but it might be absolutely gross. Keep your mouth shut now. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Ugh, it stinks though. But it wasn't as bad as I was expecting, which is great. So I'm going to get it outside because it's stinking the place out. And then I can start cleaning everything and getting ready for reassembly. Do you want to have a look under the sink? Let me show you. This is now the cupboard under the sink. There's my hot and cold water supply, which I'm going to just tuck out the way. I've put a valve on there so that I can shut that off and still use water in the rest of the boat. Well, I've got to remove these cables. They're just going to an old switch. There's the three through holes, heads out, heads in, and the sink drain. I've given it a good clean, and I've kind of lightly sanded it to abrade the surface because it's already got primer on. It's got some paint on from a previous, from previous work. So my next job is to just double check everything, make sure it's thoroughly dry and clean, and get the paint on so that it looks like this. So it's all painted out. and it looks beautiful. The only things that I've left in there, as I say, are the 2 water pipes, the red and blue, and the filler pipe for the water tank, and then there's electrical cable which I didn't strip out, but otherwise that's all good. So I've got to let that dry overnight, and then tomorrow I can start reinstalling brand new pipework that we bought, so be much better.
Jack and I have been out for the day while Andy has been rebuilding the head. One, because we didn't want to be there because it's not a nice job and it's a really nice day, and the last place you want to be is on a hot boat when you're doing a smelly job. Yeah. We're currently walking. Andy's just over there in the distance rowing because there's not quite enough water to pick us up from that pontoon. We've fetched 25 litres of water, and we've been to the laundrette and done a big load of laundry, and just been out and about and enjoying the sunshine really today, while Andy's been doing a gross job. So we're just walking to the other pontoon where there's more water, because I think if we all get in the dinghy we'll definitely run aground.
That's my throat, that's my windpipe. Thank you. No, that's my scout.
So look at this. It was parked here. So it was a Brixham sailing trawler, like Pilgrim then.
Yeah. I think a bit smaller maybe.
Yeah, and they just...
measuring 63 feet, or maybe not smaller. I can't remember how big the Pilgrim is. With a 16 feet beam, 8 feet draft, and 34.42. I'll let you think that.
But yeah, she won the King George V Cup at the Brixham Regatta
on several occasions. I need to get your fingers out of my mouth.
And for many years during the war and after the war, she provided a happy play place for children. Oh, in the village. Oh, so she was here. And now this is what she looks like, just a skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't believe that's 63 foot.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's the water line, and then it would come up.
We are going to Daddy. Daddy's waiting for us.
Yeah.
Would have been a nice boat once.
Oh, it would have been gorgeous.
So rather than sit and watch paint dry, we went out the following day to visit a boat I know well. A few months ago, I was actually on this boat helping Mike do some fiberglassing at the back. This is the dive boat for Torquay Dive Club, the BSAC Club, and today myself and Jack and Mike and Jane are going out not to go diving but to go and watch the air show. What Mike and I were doing, if you remember, was building these. Well, Mike built them and then I came down to help Mike do some fiberglassing, but this is the finished project with the steps and the lift for the scuba divers, and so that's all fantastic. Mike's just started the engine and we're off out to find somewhere to anchor to watch the air show. But yeah, it's looking good, Mike.
Isn't it?
Yeah, looking really good.
The problem that we've got is I put these
Oh yeah.
in here.
Oh,
And,
people stand on them.
well, yeah, it's a no step. So I'm going to have to replace that.
Yeah, you need something a lot stronger than them.
Well, what I'm thinking of doing is putting actually the board over the top.
Yeah, I see.
Got, you know, heavy tanks and things like that.
Yes,
Anyway, that's
by the by.
just maintenance.
Yeah. Very nice.
All the dive lift all on now, all secure.
Yeah, very nice.
It's a godsend for us
Big difference.
old guys getting
Yeah, then trying to climb into the boat up a ladder. Yeah.
much easier.
This is the English Riviera Air Show and it's been wowing spectators annually since 2016. It's held over 2 days on the first weekend in June. It's the first event in the UK's air show calendar and it's located in Paignton, but it's visible from basically the whole of Tor Bay. The flying displays are typically spectacular, as you'd expect, with the Red Arrows and the Battle of Britain Memorial being the highlights of the show for us. The air show is actually free to attend, but we managed to get front row seats by taking the dive boat out into the middle of the bay and watching the air show from there. How awesome is that? It's another grey day, so our solar panels, look how I've got them arranged. I've got them in like a teepee held up by the spinnaker pole halyard, which is great, but they're generating about 400-500 watts, which is fine considering it's super overcast. A couple of people mentioned, why don't we get a wind generator? It's definitely on our shopping list for sure, but I've been sent something to install. It's a Bluetti DC, so I'm going to try and open that, have a look inside the box and look at what's involved in installing that. So this is the DC charger that I'm talking about. Now, just before I open the box, I just wanted to say one thing. As you know, we have a big bank of lithium batteries, as well as some lithium power banks by Bluetti and EcoFlow and VT Oman. Now, I have a personal opinion on this. Bear with me. You skip this bit if you're not interested. But my opinion is they're perfect for boats. And here's why. Conventional batteries, AGMs and lead acids, kind of leisure batteries that we have all had in our camper vans and caravans for years are great, but you can only use a very small percentage of their charge. So when they say they're 120 amp hours, well, maybe they are, but you can only use a little bit of that. With lithium batteries, you can use much more of the battery. You can run them right down to 10 or 20% before you need to recharge them. And that makes them much, even though it might be the same size battery, 115 amp battery, you can use more of it. So it makes it much more effective, doesn't it, on a boat? Now, the other reason I think they're particularly good on boats rather than in things like cars and bikes and stuff is because the kind of technology is this LiFePO4 technology. It's cobalt free. So they don't self-propagate. They don't go on fire. They're incredibly safe. And the type of chemistry that's required to have a battery where you can suck a lot of power out, hundreds of horsepower sometimes in cars, to drive at 70 or 80 miles an hour illegally, 70 miles an hour on the motorway, and to accelerate hard and fast and get tons of vehicle moving, means it's pulling a lot of amps out of the battery very, very fast, which means you then need to find somewhere to charge it up very, very fast. And I'm not convinced that that's great for the batteries and for the grid. If you're having to suck a lot of power out of the grid to charge up your car again, it's a big debate, isn't it? And I certainly think there's a place for them, and I'm not poo-pooing electric cars, not for a second, but they're great. But where I think that they're really great is in a boat, because you can charge them slowly and discharge them slowly. So they last a lot longer. It's much kinder to the battery, and you can use battery chemistry, which is far safer because you're not trying to discharge them very, very, very fast. Now, let's have a look in this box and see what we've got here, which should allow us to charge the batteries from our alternator on our engine. That's the charger. So it's dead neat. It's very similar to other DC-DC chargers you may have seen, but it's super simple to set up. Oh, look at that. Yeah, so it's got two input, your inputs on one side and your outputs on the other. Sorry, input, output, output, and you just screw it to a surface. But here's the pièce de la résistance, is they give you with it all the cabling. Look at that. And a little instruction book so you can't get it wrong. So you've got all the cables that you need, including a little RCD. That's fabulous. I like that very much indeed. So you can, they give you the tools, they give you this, even give you, you know, the screws and the Allen key to screw it up with. Screw it up is often the word that I'm looking for when it comes to my work, as many of you are aware. Ollie has just woken up from his nap, and the other advantage of having things that come in boxes like this is Ollie can play with the best bit of all, which is the box.
What's inside?
Well, why don't you open it and find out? Are you going to do an unboxing video for us? Wow. Right, you have fun with that, and I'm going to go and wire this thing. Well, this seems to be working fine. I've put it up here, so it's mounted there, and these two wires are wired directly to the starter battery. You can hear the engines running, and it's got its own little trip switch there, which I need to buy a nice little enclosure for it. 1 second, Ollie, I'm just explaining to people about the charging. And then these two cables simply go into the solar panel inputs. So it kind of replaces a solar panel, and it's about equivalent to a 500 watt panel. Now, I'm just topping up the starter battery first, but at the same time, you can see there's a green flashing light on here, so we know it's working, and it's putting in, oh, it's putting in 212 watts. Just pause there for a second to explain. I hadn't realised that I'd got the charger set up to that wattage, and it was simply a matter of going into the settings and setting it up for 500 watts, which I did off camera. So now we're able to charge at somewhere between 500 and 550 watts, which is awesome. That changes slightly, of course, as the charger goes through the bulk, absorption and float stages, but it's basically between 42 to 46 amps, depending on the stage of charging it's at. And that's ticking over into the Bluetti side. So I've just got it plugged into the Bluetti side. I've got the Bluetti AC 500 on one side of the boat and my Acceleron bank on the other side of the boat. So I can take these outputs to either side, depending on which side is lower. So I need to find a clever way to kind of mount all of this and almost like make a patch cable so I can switch this over to charge either side. But that's great. That's putting in a solid 212 watts. And at the same time it's heating our water in through the calorifier. Now I'm aware I don't want to do this at anchor too often, because you run the engine, if you're running the engine not under load, you increase the risk of glazing the bores. So I'm fully aware of that. Once in a blue moon, on a grey day when you're a bit low on charge, it won't hurt your engine at all. If you did this routinely, you would glaze the bores and you would do your engine quite a lot of harm. But we need some hot water because Melissa's out and I've got to do the washing up. and it doubles up. I could heat the water on the kettle on the gas, so that uses gas, or I can heat the water with the engine, which uses diesel. So if I'm going to do that, I may as well put some charge into the batteries at the same time. But that, spanking, love it. Thank you, Bluetti. That's a fantastic piece of kit, and I have to say, wiring it up, absolute total piece of cake. It couldn't be easier, guys. So if you're concerned about, oh, I'm not very good at wiring, honestly, this is the easiest thing in the world. Well, here we are again. Shorter beard, you'll notice. Hair needs a bit of a cut, but I'll have to sort that out. Melissa and Jack and Ollie have gone to see John, Melissa's dad, because obviously, as you may have noticed from a couple of weeks ago, well, as we explained, we've got a lot to sort out with John. So I've been continuing with this job. And this is now what we're looking at. The toilet is all fixed and it all works and it pumps beautifully. All the cupboards. This cupboard here is kind of toiletries and wash kit, and that cupboard there is medical and first aid stuff. So it's dead simple, and it looks like a proper bathroom. Toilet paper's in there, cleaning products in there. The pipe from the heads now, so this pumps perfectly. So when you pump this one, it fills with water, and when you pump that one, it empties into the little holding tank that's under the front berth. So that pipe there goes through that bulkhead into the front berth, into the little holding tank, and then there's an electric discharge pump which we can use to pump out when we're 12 miles offshore. But the way I've got that tank set up, there isn't a deck thing for pumping out, so the only way to do it is to close the valves on it, and the tank has got a handle on, and you can remove the whole tank and take it and dispose of it like you would do with a caravan. So we're not putting nasties into the river. You know, there's nothing else I need to do in here for the time being. Yay! And it actually makes it quite a nice place to be rather than a stinking horrible pit, because the pipes that you get, those white pipes, over time the smell kind of, I don't know if they become porous or something, but you don't get obviously leakage and nasty horrible leakage through them, but they stink. And if you've got a boat and you've got a smelly toilet, the only way to fix it, I think, is full service kit on the toilet and replace all the pipes. Just do it. You won't regret it. And it's a bit of a mare of a job, as you've seen, but you know, it's one of those things that I probably won't have to do again for some time. Fingers crossed. So while Melissa and Jack and Ollie are away, I always take the opportunity to do some other jobs. So I've got a couple of things that I've got in my head that I want to tick off that are difficult to do with Ollie toddling around the place. But I hope you've enjoyed the episode. We're just loving being on this anchorage. I've been working on getting our 9.9 outboard sorted, so that's on the list, because we're using the 5-horse at the moment, which is okay, but it's a little bit meh. I want to get the 9.9 so that we can go all the way up to Top Ness and go and properly explore the anchorage when Melissa and Jack and Ollie get back. So that's one of the things that I want to do. In the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed the episode. Thanks very much for watching. Leave us a like and leave us a comment. Thanks to you sitting there watching this right now for watching the video right to the very end. Please leave us a comment. Leave us things that you'd like to see in the dark while we're here, for the short time that we're here. And anybody that supported us through Patreon and PayPal and Coffee, names are on the screen. Thank you. You make the channel possible, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.